Bodo Uhse. Bodo Uhse, 12 March 1904 in Rastatt, Grand Duchy of Baden, 2 July 1963 in Berlin, was a German writer, journalist, and political activist. He was recognized as one of the most prominent authors in East Germany. Early years. Uhse came from a Prussian Junker family with a long tradition of military service. In his early years, Uhse was associated with the agrarian movement and was considered to be on the far right of this group. This was evidenced by his involvement with the extremist Landvolksbewegung of Schleswig-Holstein. He took part in the right-wing Kapp-Putsch in 1920. In 1927, he became a member of the Nazi Party as a protégé of Gregor Strasser. He remained a member until 1930, when he joined the Communist Party of Germany under the influence of Bruno von Salomon, the elder brother of writer Ernst von Salomon. During his Nazi membership, he became editor to the Nazi Party newspaper in Ingolstadt. Communism, Unism, Monism. After the Reichstag fire in 1933, he fled to Paris, where he was in contact with Ernst Niekisch. At the First International Writers' Congress in Paris in 1935, he met Bertolt Brecht and Johannes R. Becher, both of whom would also later become prominent East German writers. Uhse spent the rest of the 1930s in exile in Prague, where he wrote for New Deutsche Blätter, a German-language journal that was sympathetic to communism, as well as in Paris with Bruno von Salomon. During this time, he was involved in the establishment of the Free German University, a Paris-based body that involved both the Communist Party and the Social Democratic Party of Germany. In 1936, Uhse was one of a number of exiled dissidents to be declared Ostbürger, deprived of German citizenship by the Nazi regime. During the Spanish Civil War, he served as an officer in the international brigades and wrote regularly about the conflict, with some of his work even smuggled into Nazi Germany. His experiences in Spain and as a former member of the Nazi Party led him to write the 1944 novel Lieutenant Bertram, which dealt with a Condor Legion pilot switching sides to the Republicans. The novel was a success and was translated into several languages. Mexico. In 1939, he accepted an invitation from the League of American Writers to join some other German dissidents in the United States, but, despite settling there briefly, Uhse and other communist writers soon left, feeling uncomfortable in the United States due to the prevalence of anti-communist attitudes. Uhse finally settled in Mexico in 1940, becoming part of a large group of emigrant German writers and thinkers who made their home in the capital, Mexico City. Within Mexico City, Uhse found a number of like-minded exiles, including Alexander Busch, Ludwig Renn, and Egon Erwin Kisch. Here, he co-founded the influential exile journal Freies Deutschland along with Renn, Kisch, and André Simon, and served as co-editor of this review from its 1942 foundation. His time in Mexico was chronicled in his diary, Mexikanischer Zolungen, published in 1957. East Germany. After marrying the Lithuanian Jewish-American divorcee Alma Egi in 1945, Uhse left Mexico in 1948 to settle in East Germany, where he immediately joined the Socialist Unity Party of Germany. He became the editor-in-chief of the East German monthly cultural journal Aufbau in 1949, holding the position until 1958, when he was sacked as part of a wider purge of East German cultural life. His stepson Joel Egi later wrote a memoir about his family life, 12 Years, An American Boyhood in East Germany, 1981. Uhse was a member of the People's Chamber and became the first chairman of the German Writers' Association, a position that he held from 1950 to 1952. In 1954, Uhse joined the literature section of the German Academy of Arts, the most influential cultural body in the East. In 1963, he was appointed editor-in-chief of the influential literary magazine Sinn und Form. Uhse, who was suffering from severe ill health due to a lifetime of heavy drinking and smoking, died after only a few months in the post. Selected works. Soldner Unsoldet, 1935 mercenary and soldier novel. Lieutenant Bertram, 1944 Lieutenant Bertram, a novel of the Nazi Luftwaffe, 1944. The Shadow Thrower, 1945. Orson, 1948 We Sons, novel. Die Heilige Kunigund im Schnee und in der Zollungen, 1949 Saint Kunigund in the Snow and Other Stories. Landung in Australian, Reisebericht 1950 Arrival in Australian, a travelogue. Die Bruck, 3 1952 The Bridge, 3 stories. Die Patriotin, 1954 The Patriots, novel. Tagevuchos China, 1956 Diary from China. Mexicanist Erzählungen, 1957 Mexican Stories. Die Aufgabe ein Kollwitzer 1958 The Task, a Kollwitz story. Gestalten und Problem, 1959 Figures and Problems. Rise in einem blauen Schwan, Erzählungen 1959 Trip Inside a Blue Swan, Stories. Sonntagsdramerei in der Alameda, 1961 Sunday Dreamings in the Alameda. Im Rhythmus der Kingau, ein kubanischer Sommer, 1962, To the Beat of the Kingau, a Cuban Summer. References